Welcome to the Living Well with Fibromyalgia video presentation on managing stress. The information in this presentation has been put together with input from the clinical psychologist in the pain clinic. So we all face stress. It's a normal part of everyday life. And stress affects the body in a number of ways, both physically and psychologically. It is particularly important to understand stress when living with fibromyalgia because stress can increase our experience of pain because of the already sensitive nervous system. Let's make a start by thinking about what we mean when we say stress. We could define stress as the difference between the demands made upon a person and that person's perceived ability to cope with them. It can be a little bit like a seesaw with the demands on one side and how well we feel we can cope with them on the other. In other words, if you feel that you can cope with the demands being asked of you, then you'll be fine. But if you feel you cannot cope, the balance will tip and you may end up feeling stressed. We are all different, so what might cause one person to be stressed might not be a problem for someone else. It's all about how we feel we can cope with the demands. So for example, if you were asked to do a presentation to 100 people, you might feel this is way within your capabilities and so not feel stressed at all. But for someone else, they may feel horrified by the idea because they don't feel able to cope with it, and they would naturally feel very stressed. Stress is not a mental illness, nor will it cause mental illness. It's a normal human experience. Most of us will feel stressed at some point in our lives. Stress is what we feel when we're under pressure. It's a completely normal response which we all experience from time to time and is our body's reaction to feeling under threat. It's not dangerous, and in certain situations it can be helpful and motivating. Our body responds to stress in a number of ways. We are designed to respond to stress in a way that will keep us safe, so our body will be prepared to either fight the danger or run away. We call this the flight or fight response. This is perfectly normal. This can be useful if we're in a situation which requires either of these responses. The problem is that most of the stress we experience in these days does not require us to run away or to fight back. These physical symptoms are an indication of your body preparing for fight or flight. And you can imagine that in situations of danger, these symptoms can be helpful, like being able to run away from someone attacking you or having the strength to lift a cupboard that's fallen on top of someone. In these moments, our body responds in a way which helps us to keep ourselves and others safe. These symptoms are then switched off once we're out of danger. But if the stress we experience is because of our health, our finances, or family problems, for example, these symptoms aren't helpful. And if we are stressed for long periods, then these symptoms can actually be harmful to us. We can experience more pain, digestive problems, and headaches. So we've looked at the physical symptoms, but what happens psychologically when you feel stressed? Because being stressed doesn't just affect our bodies, it affects how we think and feel. And you may identify with some of these thoughts and feelings. It's good to think about your own stress and how it's affecting you. In the workbook, there's a tool you may find useful to understand how stress affects you. It's called the Perceived Stress Scale. When we think about the impact that stress has on us, we can use this diagram, which is taken from cognitive behavioural therapy. It helps us to think about our thoughts, feelings, body and behaviour. Everything affects everything else. So our thoughts affect our feelings, our body and our behaviour, our body sensations will affect our thoughts, feelings and behaviour and so on. So this is an example of how this could work. Imagine that you've been doing something and your pain has got so bad you've had to stop. What might you think? These are some examples. Maybe you might think, I'm useless, I can't do anything, I can't cope, this pain will never end. How would that make you feel? Well, it would probably make you feel frustrated or depressed. You might feel angry or worried or guilty. These thoughts and feelings will also affect your body. And these are just some examples of what you might experience. And then all of this will affect how you act. So maybe you might just push through the pain, or maybe you might rest more. So what can we do about this? These are some of the things that we can do to help. So distraction is a good way of calming our thoughts down because it gives us something else to think about. Instead of those negative thoughts running through our head, we're thinking about something else. This doesn't make the problem go away, but it does give us a break from it. Perhaps you have things you do to help distract you, reading a book or going for a walk, listening to music, doing a puzzle or phoning a friend. We'll talk more about this in a little while. With regard to our bodies, we want to try and reduce all that stressful tension that builds up when we have those thoughts. And the best way to do this is to try relaxation. And again, we'll come back to this shortly. And when it comes to our behaviour, how we are managing our pain and fatigue, then applying the principles in the other sessions about managing activities and values and goals is really important. If we can avoid the build-up of pain and fatigue, then we are less likely to crash and have all those difficult thoughts about how useless we are. You will notice that there's not a solution for feelings. Feelings are what they are, but if we're managing all these other areas, that will also impact our feelings. So here are some ideas of things that we can do to help us cope with stress. First of all, keeping active. Taking exercise regularly has great benefits for both our physical and psychological health. It can also be a great way to relieve stress and physical tension. Exercise can reduce levels of the body's stress hormones and stimulate the production of serotonin and endorphins, which naturally make us feel good. The main thing is to find a form of exercise that's right for your body and that you enjoy, as this will make it much easier to keep doing it regularly. Secondly, do things you enjoy. Anything we do that absorbs, calms and interests us can help to reduce the physical effects of stress on our bodies. As clever as our brains are, we can only truly give one thing our full attention at a time. If we are engaged in meaningful activities, it can help to give our brains some light relief from getting caught up with stressful thoughts. And self-care. There are other ways to calm and soothe ourselves, such as taking a warm bath, drinking a cup of your favourite tea, or stroking a pet. As well as engaging in activity, practicing regular relaxation can help us to manage stress levels. Many people find it hard to relax, and our bodies hold physical tension, which can in turn increase pain levels. With practice, you can learn skills in relaxation which will help to ease feeling of tension, which can be used any time you need. There are lots of different types of relaxation, and different things suit different people. You may need to experiment with a variety of strategies to find out what works for you. The workbook has a range of ideas you can try. It also has some tracks you can download for free that have been produced by our psychologists. This is one very quick and easy technique that you can try. It's called stop, drop and flop. So stop whatever you are doing, drop your shoulders and your chest, and then flop your head forwards and breathe slowly through your nose until the tension passes. Often we hold our tension in our shoulders, and very often without realising it, our shoulders end up being earrings. So dropping our shoulders helps to relieve some of that tension. If you can flop your head forwards without any pain to your neck, then just relax your head, and breathing slowly actually gives a signal to our brain that we're okay, and it helps to relieve stress. So this type of relaxation is called visual imagery, and it is something that you can use sitting in a comfortable chair or even lying in bed. And the idea of this relaxation is that you imagine yourself somewhere really pleasurable and relaxing. So it might be a holiday destination, a beach somewhere, or a park or a garden, somewhere where you feel relaxed. And then thinking about what it feels like, what it sounds like, what it tastes like, what can you hear, what can you smell? Totally immersing yourself in that memory, in that imagination. The idea of this relaxation is that it helps your mind and your body to relax and can be really useful at night times when you're trying to get to sleep. mentioned distraction earlier. Distraction helps because we can only think about one thing at a time. So thinking about something else helps to distract our brains from those thoughts that might cause us stress. It can take our minds off things, and this will in turn affect our feelings and our body. So the method you use should work for you. Remember that we're all different and not everything mentioned will suit everyone or every situation. But as you practice the technique regularly, it will become more natural and may help prevent stress levels rising. So here's some ideas of things that you might do. So here are some useful books recommended by our psychologists. You can find this list in the workbook along with links to some free relaxation tracks that you could try. Now, if you feel so anxious or stressed that thoughts of harming yourself or ending your own life have been in your mind, then please visit your GP as soon as possible and ask for help. If you cannot visit your GP and feel that you cannot keep yourself safe, please attend A&E and ask for help from the Mental Health Service. I hope that this presentation has been helpful. Please do ask for help if you need it.